So, dear Nigerians, I believe you all know now. I'm going to talk to this time around. You all know that from the first day of 2026, you are going to be, there will be another regime of um, tax. The way we actually experience taxation would be different from what you used to have. Of course, I am disclaimer here. I'm not an expert. I'm not an expert when it comes to tax, but I have at least a bit of understanding based on the course of study, what I studied in school. But let's quickly look at a highlight of what we have in that particular budget. I'm going to be, I'm not saying I'm the authority that is talking around here. I only did my research, and some of the things that I was able to extract, I'll be discussing them. Yeah. So one of those things is as from 2026, first of 2026, in January, we are going to be having another set of 4 integrated tax reform law, which is taking effect immediately, the first day of your life in January. Yes, that's when you'll be experiencing it. Those laws, there are like 4 that were integrated. The first one is Nigerian Tax Act, that's NTA, not Nigerian Television Authority. It's called Nigerian Tax Act. And the second one is Nigerian Tax Administration Act, that's NTAA. The next one is Nigerian Revenue Service Act, that's NRSA, and the Joint Revenue Board Act, that's JRBA. So all these is like we are unifying them into one space in order for us to actually have a like a robust tax system. So, and that's what it is. So what are those things that you actually need to know? The core elements are: 1, consolidation and simplification. The tax code is being consolidated into a single unified legal framework, placing over 50 fragment status, and also broad use of digital tools such as e-invoicing, physical device, and single tax identification number, that's thing, for all taxpayers. And also the next one is new institutional architecture. There's going to be another architecture that is well institutionalized, and that's FRS. Just as we have all had, FRS will become Nigerian Revenue Service, with broader authority and, in theory, greater autonomy and capacity. That's what that is all about. A tax ombudsman, that's office, and this will improve dispute resolution, so that when you have issues with your tax, it can be easily resolved. And also formally introduce transparency and fairness when it comes to tax. That's what they said. I'm not holding forth for them here, because I've never seen tax justice in Nigeria, and so I'm not holding forth for government. I'm only saying those things that are contained in that reform. And also tax base expansion and equity. The low income earner earning below 800, so this is where it concerns you. For those of you who are earning below 800 naira, you are accepted from income tax. You are exempted, of course. Thank God. For some of us that we are not rich, yes. Then also high income individuals and large corporation, they will see higher rates and a new minimum tax, that is e.g. 50% global minimum for huge firm, that's 15%. And also VAT will remain at 7.5%. Don't panic. So your VAT is still at 7.5. It was reviewed from 5% to 7.5, not quite long. But the scope of taxable services expand, while essential goods and services get zero ratings. Yes, they are still not going to tax essential services. And so when it comes to compliance now, what do we have? So we are going to be having like over 15 nuances of tax, you know. A single 4% development fee on profit. There's going to be a single 4% on development level on profit, and also mandatory electronic tax reporting is now a standard. It is important that you must go through electronic means. You know, when you are introducing technology, is meant to, you know, reduce the level of hanky panky, to improve transparency and accountability. And also, so that's what that one is actually saying in the essence of it. And also, so who are those that have been targeted, who the reform is actually aimed at? Broadening the tax net, you know, is for the government to actually plug leakages. You know, they want to, a lot of leakages that are being experienced. I think this is one thing that Oyo State also practiced. They didn't increase the tax. They didn't. In fact, I can tell you that Oyo State did not widen the net. What Oyo State did to increase its revenue generation was to plug the leakage, and I think that's what they are trying to do here. Reduce Nigeria historically low tax to GDP ratio, and so those are part of the things. When you plug the leakage, then automatically you increase the level of taxation. I think it is in this area that I think government should have done more instead of increasing the tax. Also, harness revenue, not just from oil but from broader economy. So that's what the government is looking at. It's looking at taxing every other aspect of the economy, not just oil revenue. So digital services, such as digital services, those of you, for example, if I'm making money from what I'm doing now, they will tax me. Capital gains, multinational profit, and the rest of them. Then so also they want to also, what according to that law, is trying to reduce the burden on low income earners while ensuring the wealthy people actually pay. So it's like Robin Hood. They are not going to rob, but according to Robin Hood, rob the rich and service the poor. And also, economic growth and investment, attract investment through clearer tax incentive for priority sector like agriculture, manufacturing, export, and green energy. You know, so according to this, they are going to be providing incentive that will encourage people to actually pay the tax. For me, but I think the most important incentive that can be given is tax justice. When I pay my tax, I want to see development towards that. I want to see that my tax is being spent judiciously, not on the bulletproof cars, not on budget for House of Assembly, not for budget for National Assembly that I don't even know the amount that they are actually earning in the first place. Those should be the major incentive. When I go out, I see good roads, not like I'm traveling from Ibadan to just like 30 minutes drive to Ife. I will be spending like 4 hours because the roads are bad. Or I'm going from Ibadan to Akure, I'll be spending like 6 hours in a space that you only need to spend like 1.5 hours. Those are tax justice. Those are incentive that I actually need to actually see, for me to see incentive and say why I should actually invest my money into tax payment. Then also state and local government fiscal autonomy. So this reform empowers state to increase internal generated revenue and reduce the dependency on federal government allowances. So what they are saying is, as federal government is increasing its own, that the state also is empowered to increase, and local government as well, to increase the means of actually generating taxes revenue, local internally generated revenue for themselves. I don't know how we're going to breathe this way. So what are the benefits? I'm not going to be biased. What are the benefits? Simplification and efficiency. There's going to be, it will be simple to actually calculate, to pay, and of course there's going to be efficiency. But their definition of efficiency, a more streamlined tax code, more compliance, they will make compliance more easier. They will have for those that are accountants in organizations, there's going to be the code is going to be streamlined, and which will make it more easy. Digitized system which will improve accuracy, reduce corruption opportunity, and speed up the process, so you don't have, someone will not have to drop your document under the carpet and waste your time for a long time. Then there's going to be fairness when it comes to tax burden, whether individual and profitable firm contribute relatively more, with exemption to protect lower earners, and also broader tax category captures modern economic activities like digital services. What I don't want to mention here is the fact that from sources, I realized that the people that you call Olosho to, it's like they are going to be paid tax as well. I don't know. I believe some certain region of the country will be having problem with this. And also growth and investment signal. This is actually going to signal growth, and of course people would like to invest. I don't know that is going to be how that is going to be like an advantage, but that's part of those things that I see here. There's going to be clear incentive for startups, SMEs, export, and priority on industry could attract capitals, and there will be incentive for those that I've actually mentioned. And of course the law is going to be harmonized, which will make it easy for people to actually comply, and they will also know easily the amount of the cost of what they are actually need to pay. And so that's that. Then also the last one is transparency. Of course, when you include technology, when you digitize, you realize that it's going to promote that is really going to